tonight we're gonna go a little bit, mixed bag of postures and conditioning. I know some people like to go crazy, Meg, and some people don't. Oh, no. But you can always take it at your own pace. Make sure you're doing that. But I do want to talk very quickly about the hamstrings, because the hamstrings, oftentimes we think we need to stretch them a lot. And there's a couple things that happen with the hamstrings. If you're just doing this to touch your toes, you're just stretching your back. So number one, you need to hinge from the hips. You need to hitch at the hips in order to stretch your hamstrings. If you're doing this, you're not stretching your hamstrings, you're just stretching your back. So you gotta hitch at the hips. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, if you're constantly pulling your hamstrings, you're making them tighter. You guys get that?
Wow.
So it's like a rubber band. If you pull a rubber band like to its max, it gets tight, doesn't it? Do you guys get?
Yeah.
You guys get that? Right? It gets really tight. So sometimes we're pulling the hamstrings and not relaxing them into a stretch, and we're making them tighter, but in an elongated way. So what I do want to talk about is when we are opening the hip flexors, which we're going to do. If the hamstrings are overstretched, because if you're sitting a lot, they're stretched out. Okay, and if you're pulling them a lot, they're stretched out. Okay, so they could be overstretched. I want to talk about not hyper contracting the hamstrings, but softening them and letting them relax inward. Letting the hamstring soften and relax in as we're opening up the hip flexor. So I want you guys to kind of think about that. Just think about softening the hamstring rather than, ugh. You got it. You got your parka on. Good girl. All right, so a little windy. So we're going to start with heels and toes together.
It's always windy.
It's always windy.
Windy.
There is
Windy
no
and
non-windy
raining.
days, but it's good. Wind is good, right?
No. Only hot
I
wind.
know. Hot wind. All right, so we're going to start mountain pose. And I want you guys, as we're starting in mountain pose, to think about the hips here opening, okay, and really feeling a stretch and taking your hip points and lifting them up. Rather than pushing them forward, hold them in so your hips are over your ankles and lift your hip points up. Lift your chest up. And think about softening your hamstrings for now. The back of your legs, from the knees to the buttocks. Lift through the crown of the head. Spread through the fingers. And feel your lungs expand as you stretch the arms out to the side and up. Press your hands together. Press your shoulders open. As you exhale, pull those elbows back behind you. Yeah, head is back. Do that again. Inhale. That really nice opening, you guys. And then exhale, squeeze those elbows back and your head and your ears back. Try two more. Inhale, really open up through your back. And exhale. And one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, we're going to bend the knees and hip hinge. So you're going to hinge at your hips to come into the hamstrings. And come on down. Let your head relax. So shake out your head, shake out your neck. We're going to do this with bent knees so that we hinge at the hips and elongate your back rather than rounding it. And soften in through your hip flexors so the hip flexors can fold without force. You can relax the hip flexors, stretch through the glutes. And grab hold of your elbows, you guys, and just swing your back side to side. Swing your head, neck, and shoulders. Breathing in, breathing out. All right, bring the hands down in front. Right knee bends, left leg straight. So you're gonna open up and lift the chest on the left side, lift the hip up. Yeah, there you go. Doesn't matter which side, pick one. One leg straight, one leg bent. Yep. Breathe in, breathe out. Straight leg, push open that chest and hip. And let's come on down and try the other side. Let's go ahead and bend the left, straighten out the right, lift up that right arm. Yeah. Pull your hip back. Pull your hip back. Stick it all the way out there, you guys. And release it back down. Let's come into chair pose. So we're going to reach up into chair pose. Hug into your hips. Inhale, rise up. And come into your back bend. And bring the hands right behind the head here. And just tuck the chin in and come down. And we're going to stretch the spine. So you are going to stretch your back here. You're going to come down and stretch. So you're trying to pull the back of the head away from the back of the neck. And your legs can be straight, that's fine. Again, you don't want to do any aggressive pulling. You want more softening and relaxing. Think about that rubber band being pulled too hard, getting tighter. So you're trying to release and relax. All right, roll it back up again. Lace your fingers together, keep the shoulders down, turn the palms to the sky, and then bring the palms over to the right side. And again, see if you can soften here. See if you can just kind of fall, soften and fall. And let your head come down. See if you can breathe a little bit more. And rise up, lift, lift, lift. And come over to the other side. And again, see if you can soften. Chest is open. And rise up. Good. Let's swan dive. Come into our halfway lift. Lift through the chest. Hip hinge. Stretch out those hamstrings. And come into plank position. So we're going to step back into plank. And get those arms nice and straight. Now what I'm going to have you guys do in plank is separate your shoulder blades. So you're going to round up through your back. And then come down and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Do that again. Separate your shoulder blades. And squeeze your shoulder blades together. And come up and separate the shoulder blades. And when you come down to chaturanga, bend your elbows and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Push those elbows in. Push those elbows together. Elongate the tops of the feet. And then lift up your chest and open up your hips. Now I want you guys trying to lift your chest, straighten out your arms, pull the neck up, pull the belly up, and breathe in, breathe out. Now again, you want to pull in that softening way rather than hard pull. So relax those shoulders, breathe in, breathe out. Come down onto the belly, bend that right foot in, lift your leg up, and then press yourself up again. Push your head to your foot and your foot to your head. And release it down. Good, let's try the other side. You're gonna bend that in, lift your leg up, elbows in, and then lift through the chest. Go ahead and reach back. Relax it down. Go into child's pose, into downward dog, so reach back. Spread your fingers wide. So you guys make sure your fingers are spread. Open up your thumbs, index finger, pinky, and put your weight into your joints of the fingers, yeah. And let your head hang down. See if you can soften your hamstrings. Soften the body to find your stretch. Left leg straight and lift that right leg up. Now again, you want to open your hip. So you guys want to soften hamstring, bend the knee. See if you can soften and gently contract the back of that leg to let it fold in more. Belly gets a stretch. All right, tuck that knee into the chest and step it forward. Ground your back foot and rise up. So you guys, as you rise up, let your hip points come up nice and high. Lift up tall. Inhale, exhale. So this is where you're getting the stretch of your hamstring here. So soften and open. All right, do your best to soften and open. As you breathe in, breathe out. Lift through the chest a little bit more. Lock your fingers back. Open chest. Push your head back a little more. Stretch your belly. Reach your hands into a clasp. Even deeper here. Good. Keep that front knee bent. Squeeze into the belly. And come forward. Now try to relax your shoulders. Keep that front knee bent. And lift your hands away from your back. Keep them together. Just try to lift them up. Away from your back. Up and over. All right. Let's release and step back into plank. Option to keep the leg lifted here. But stretch the leg out. Come all the way down. Elbows in. Option to lift that leg and lift up. Go into downward dog. Reach it back. Breathe in, breathe out. So you want to soften the hip flexors, soften Let your head hang down. Let your head shake out. Just let that neck extend. All right, right leg stays straight. Left leg comes up. Good job. So we bend the knee and we open that hip. And you soften the hamstring to try to let it close a little bit more. All right, we'll step that in. Step it all the way forward. Round your back foot and rise up. All right, you guys, so we're gonna lift up into that warrior one. Make sure your hip points here are lifting up the whole time. Try to bring them both to the front and lift. Yeah, you're stretching out this hamstring. So hamstring's tight, it'll probably be like restricted. So you wanna come down and relax and open up that hamstring. Bring the hands back. Open chest, move the head back a little bit more. Roll the shoulders back. Elbows work back. Clasp the hands down low. All the way back here. Open chest and shoulders. Lift the collar. Keep that front knee bent. Squeeze the belly. Come all the way over, you guys. Go ahead and drop your head and lift your hands up to the sky. Breathe in, breathe out. Yeah. All right, let's come into plank position. Option to have that left leg up and out. And come down. Bend the knee is your option. And then lift. Come into your downward dog. Reach it back. All right, you guys. Right leg up to the sky again. Let's go for it. Let's bend that knee and open your hip. Try to stretch open that hip like you're pulling your knee away from that hip a little more. And get a little more bend behind the knee so your heel comes in more. Yeah, that's it. Let's step that forward. Woo! Come into triangle pose. So straight leg. Come all the way out into triangle pose. Again, this is where you're going to be pulling your hamstring, and sometimes we pull it too intensely. So we want to try to, soften, open through the heart. Take this top arm behind your back and bend that knee. Come on down and possibly clasp and take this into your reach. Got a bug. The bugs are out.
The worms are gone now.
The worms are gone, the bugs are out. Yahoo. All right, from here, we're gonna go into Skandasana. So you guys are gonna bend that back knee and lunge. You're still facing the long edge of your mat. Yeah, that's it, Carol, you got it. You wanna come down and stretch your inner thigh. Go for it. Come right back up, sweep through, come forward. You guys with me on this? Your forward position, hands to the ground. You're gonna continue to turn your body to the right. Keep going. You feel it in the booty. Lift up. Keep turning your feet. See, your back foot ends up turning. So the side of your foot goes down. Do your best, Judy. There you go.
It's not going.
That's good. All right, let's release. Come on down and step back into plank position. Come all the way down, elbows in. Inhaling up. Let's come on up. Exhale into downward dog, reaching it open. So spread those fingers, spread your toes. Calves down. Soften calves, soften hamstrings. Let your spine relax. Let the neck come down. Shake it out. All right, left leg up to the sky. Let's bend that knee. Let's pull the knee away from your hip. Stretch it more to the right. Tug it in a little more. All right, let's step that forward for triangle pose. So step it up there, ground your back foot. Legs straight, make sure heel in line with arch. Coming over to the side. So triangle pose, sideways position. Yep, left heel in line with right arch. Laying over your left leg sideways. Good. Remember, you guys, you soften your hamstring. So Judy, go left. Yeah, there you go. Chest is up. Lean back if you can. And bring your hand behind your back if you want to. You don't have to. And then bend your left knee. Come down. You can rest here. You don't have to go into the intense part. Or you can lock your hands together back. Open up your chest. Go for it. And move into Skandasana. So you're just going to lunge over through that right knee. Yeah, right leg. Inner thigh stretch. You guys with me? Yes? That's it. So just get your second leg, whichever leg you didn't stretch. Now again, not too intense. We're working on softening. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Make your way back to the front. Everybody keep your legs in the position. Just turn to the front. Face the front of your yoga mat. Then you're going to keep turning to the left. So your feet are going to turn. And you'll lift up this top arm. Can we do it? Yes. Good. Keep on opening up your hip. Lift through the hip. You're going to feel the glute getting that stretch. All right. Let's come back into plank position. From plank position, we're going to drop the knees down and stretch out that right leg. So we're going to stretch the right leg out. Everyone's with me, yes? Walk your hands a little more forward, and you're going to take it into push-ups. You're going to contract the back muscles and contract the chest. Go for it. 1, elbows in. 2, kick that leg. 3, 4, elbows in. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Bringing that down, and we'll take that left leg out. Just stretch your leg out so the leg is straight and strong. Hands are forward, elbows come in. Contract your back, and then push. Push. Elbows in when you do this. Good. Chest comes down. Weight into your hands for 4. Good job. 3. Squeeze those back muscles when you go down. 2. And 1. Woohoo! All right, you guys. Come back into plank position. We are going to lift up the right hand. Pick it all the way up. Stagger your feet. Yeah. Squeeze your inner thighs. You got it. Top arm way over the head, you guys. Way over. Take your top leg up as high as you can. Up in the air. Stretch it out. Bring that top leg behind you and flip around. Reach the arm overhead to the sky. Hamstrings soft. Lift your hips. Use your booty, guys. 2 and 1. Unwind. Come back to plank. Go into the other side. So you're going to go to the left. Your feet are staggered. Lifting up. Lift that top leg up. Bring that top leg back. Reach back. Open your heart. Breathe in, breathe out. 2 and 1. All right. Let's unwind and walk or jump your feet to the outside of your hands. Coming into our squat. So you're going to come down into squat. So as you come down into squat, your feet are wide. Right? Yeah. Drop your hips. You're stretching the hamstrings out on this one, okay? So you want to pull the bottom of the hips back nice and wide. Lift through the chest. Inhale, exhale. Keep your hips going backwards as you stretch your hands as far forward as you can. Onto the ground if you can. And push your chest down. Your lower back comes down. Your heels are down. Your butt is back. That's good. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's rise up. Woohoo! Open up your hips again. Feet are apart. And as we exhale, we're going to come down over the right leg. So you're going to bring your nose to your right knee. Rise up. And bring your nose to your left knee. Come on down. Good. And we rise up. Beautiful. Bring the feet together, nice and strong. Press your hands, press your feet. Take your right foot up and take it to tree pose. You're going to open up through the hips. Keep those hips nice and strong, feet strong. Hands press. You can stay right here and that's fine. Or you can lift up. Good. From here, we'll pull that leg in. Squeeze that leg up. Reach it back behind you. Take your right hand and grab your foot. Lift it up. Again, you're softening your hamstring. Woo! That wind. hands, down again. Press, press, press. Let's take that left foot up. Bring that right inside. Open up through the hips. Press your hands. Press open your hips. Reach the hands up if you want to. You don't have to. Keep that right foot grounded. Take that leg in. Squeeze it. Take that leg back behind you. Reach back. Lift it up. Woo-hoo! Stay with it, you guys. Beautiful. All right, let's release it down. And one more here for balance. Bring the arms out to the side. Press it out. Take up that right knee. And extend the leg out. Point your toe. This is your hamstring stretch. 3, 2, and 1. Cross it over and sink. Stick your right hip as far to the right and as far back as you can. Right hip as far to the right and as far back as you can. Rise up. Arms out to the side again. Head is up. Taking that left leg up. Ah! Extend it out. Stay nice and strong in the core. Good. Bring that leg in. Cross it over. And have a seat. Push your left hip as far to the left and as far back as you can. Just keep getting that nice and open. Just pre-stretch for our pigeon pose. 2 and 1. Bring the feet together. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Wrap the hands. Soften your hamstrings, you guys. Soften, soften, soften. Relax in through the hips. Let the back come down. Let the chest come down. Let the head come down. Let the shoulders relax into the back. All right, come into halfway lift. Lift through the chest. Step back into plank again. And we're going to cross that right ankle over the left. Right ankle on top of left. And we're going to take it to push-ups. You can put your knees down if you need to. For 4. Oh yeah, I need to. 3, 2, and 1. All right, come on up to plank again. Left ankle on top of right. Knees are done. Here we go. For 4. Press. 3. Press. 2. Press. And 1. Unwind. Come all the way down. Oh yeah. Squeeze your elbows together. Press yourself up. Exhale into downward dog. Woo! Okay, one more standing series, you guys. Let your heels come down. Let those hips relax back. Bring your right leg up to the sky. Sky high. Bend the knee. Relax your hamstring so that it shortens. So the back of your leg from your knee to your butt gets shorter. Excuse me. There you go. And step that foot forward. Come into that pyramid stretch. This is that hamstring stretch again if you get a little too aggressive pulling. You want to think about just softening, elongating, and hinging, of course, at your hip. So keep sticking the right butt cheek out. Keep coming forward. 2, and now it's got cold all of a sudden. Somebody turn the lights out. That's right. Step on that front leg. Lift it up. Bend the knee. Catch your foot with your hand. You don't have to. But if this is your thing, you go for it. You lift that leg up. Open your thighs. Take that leg back to the back of the mat and Skandasana again. So you're going to lunge again for inner thigh, hamstring, stretch. Nothing too intense, you guys. Just a relaxation. 3, 2, come forward again. Step back into your plank. Come all the way down. Inhaling up. Exhaling into downward dog, reaching it all the way back. Okay, let your head come down, you guys. Let your shoulders be wide. Let's lift that left leg up to the sky. Go ahead and bend it in. Yeah. Soften your hamstring. Think about shortening it from knee to bum. So you can open up the front of your leg. All right, let's step that forward. Come into that pyramid. Okay, so come into this straight leg. And again, you don't want to feel any painful pulling, just something, a softening, an elongation, and folding down at your hip over your leg. Do your best. Breathe in, breathe out. Remember, you want a hip hinge, so that left butt has to go all the way back. Awesome. Let's step your weight forward, lift up the back leg. And again, you're welcome to stay there. You can bend your knee, catch your foot with opposite hand, and left. Lift your leg, yeah. Or you can just do what you were doing before. Okay, bring that leg to the back of your mat again, and Skandasana lunge on this side. Come on down. Pick a side, any side.
I think I'm on that.
You'll half right. Right? Any inner thigh stretch, Judy. Any inner thigh stretch, right? So relax the inner thigh, inner hamstring. Just try to send it open. I got my Charlie's Angels hands. I don't know why I was doing this. Come on up, guys. Sorry. Okay, let's step back into plank. And come down with the right knee. Come down with the right knee. And then spin that right leg behind you and lift up. And lift it all up. Now you guys, we're gonna do some strengthening here for the booty. So yeah, so you're gonna be lifting that leg up every time. It's gonna go up and tap down. So 1, go higher. 2, touch the ground. 3, touch the ground. 4, 5, use your glute. 6, 7, make it a straight leg. 8, 9, head is up, core is in. 1 more set. 1, 2, 3, legs straight and strong. 4, 5, 6, 7, you got it. 8, 9, and 10. Now grab that foot behind you. Go for it. You're gonna stretch your shoulder, your chest. Pull your elbow back, pull your knee back. Again, soften the back of your thigh here. So you can contract that hamstring. And soften the front of the leg. Breathe, breathe, breathe. All right, let's come back into plank. Yeah. Come all the way down into plank position. Keep those arms nice and strong. Left knee comes down. Spin that. And pick up that leg and arm. Yeah. So leg and arm is lifted. Make sure your hips open, you guys. And we're going to lift that leg. Here we go. It's 1, tap. 2, tap. 3, 4, 5. Keep lifting. 6, you got it. 7, 8, 9. Second set, straighter leg for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now hold it up. Catch your foot behind you. Send your elbow back. Soften the back and the front of your leg so that you can have more of an effect on your muscle change. So do your best there. Get that leg back, head back, breathe in, breathe out, and extend, and relax in child's pose. So you guys are gonna come back and get those knees open, stretch back, let your elbows come down, let your head come down, and breathe, breathe, breathe. So as we're coming into these deeper stretches and a little bit of core work, we want to make sure that we're breathing, of course, and we keep the mind on the breath. And we listen to really what we're trying to accomplish in these next postures. So right here, you're trying to relax in through the hip joint and settle the lower back a little bit more. Relax the chest open. Breathe in, breathe out. Bring your arms as far over to the right as you can. I know you're going to be touching this non-yoga mat, non-clean ground. But bring your left hand on top of your right hand and see if you can relax into a stretch. So again, if you are the type of person who pulls a muscle, you could be making it tighter. It's the opposite of what you want to do in your practice. You want to soften, relax, and let go. Breathe in and breathe out. Yeah, let's go to the other side, okay? So you're gonna bring the arms over to the left And don't be like, well, that's just the way I do it, Lorella. We can all change. Just inhale and exhale. Maybe that's the way we do it right now, right? But we're going to try to make a change. All right, so we're going to come up into kneeling. Again, lots of openers here, you guys. So we're going to work into our camel pose. Lift your hip points up. There's that jacket now. Press. Now you want to start to activate more of your glutes. A lot of times because the glutes aren't working, we're using the hamstrings all the time. So they're getting tighter and tighter and tighter, right? Overused. So we want to try to relax a little bit through the hamstrings. Let the glutes do the work. Contract through the glutes. Lift the hip points. You can keep your chin tucked in if that's too much to let the head go back. That's fine. Because again, you might make the neck tighter by pulling the neck if it's too much. So you want to soften the neck and let it go back as it feels good. Let your elbows come toward each other. So let your elbows come toward each other. So you want to strengthen your arms as you do this. And breathe. Whatever feels good is good. All right, let's go ahead and settle that down. Very good. We're going to come and have a seat and extend the legs out. So you're going to have the legs straight out in front of us. And again, we do want to feel, again, when we're stretching the hamstring, the hip hinge rather than rounding and the back rounding. So you lift up your hip points and you move your hips forward, right? So you can grab your feet if you want to, or just your legs. It's you know, whatever works for you is fine, right? Just make sure that you're feeling the press through the legs and the softening as you're letting go. And see if you can widen across the lower back, your sacrum. You breathe in and breathe out. Try to let your back open. Let your spine extend. Maybe go a little bit further by letting your head drop. So the weight of your head will help to open up the muscles along your spine. And just breathe in and breathe out as you allow this to happen. Just think about softening and letting go. All right, as we come up, we're gonna lean back to the right, so we'll go that way. And you're gonna try to put your hands behind you. Try to keep your hands even with each other, so one's not, you know, further back. Try to get them right in line with each other. So look at so you're twisting to the right. You look like this. This is you. You're like this, behind you, but try to get your hands even with each other. Yeah? There you go. That's it. Try to get your left hand in line with your right hand. Yeah. That's a hard one, ain't it?
Yeah.
I know. It's possible though, you guys. I know I have big monkey arms, but you can do it. 2 and 1. Come on up and let's try it on the left side. So legs stay straight and you're going to try to come behind you as far as you can. Bring one hand back and try to put the other hand down next to, so right hand in line with left. Yep, so your hands are like this behind you, right next to each other. And you try to keep moving your hands further behind you and even them out. Oh boy, right? It's hard, but keep trying. Don't give up on it.
Yeah.
3, 2, and 1. Very good. So bend through the knees and rock the pelvis forward. So you're going to stretch open and get your sacrum and your hips to come up and forward and the shoulders relax. And then as we exhale, we're going to move the hips back. So we're going to go into a pelvic tilt or posterior tilt. So we come up and move the hips forward, and you'll notice that your back spikes. When we come down on the ground for the core work, you're going to want to know that. You want your hips to go back so that you're stretching your back toward the floor when we're doing the exercise. So this is a backward tip of the pelvis. Come on up for your forward tip of the pelvis. That lifts your chest up. So we're going to stretch it back, backward tip, and then you're going to come down onto your back, okay? But you're going to keep that backward tip of the pelvis. And the arms are going to come down. The elbows in, elbows back, legs up. I want you guys to keep the backward tip of the pelvis. You want to engage the lower belly. Engage the core so that your back stays on the ground. See if you can keep your hips and your ribs connected with each other and into the floor as you lower one leg at a time. So 1, 2, 3. Don't let your back spike up by letting your hips come up, right? Don't let those hips come up. Try 4 more of these. 3, 2. Now if you can keep those hips in that backward tip and the ribs connected and the back on the ground, lower both legs at the same time. Limit your range if you can't do it too far. So 1, you want to keep your head and shoulders back. 2, this is really good core training. 3, good. 4, keep those hips in. 5, and again, if you can't do it, just don't go so far with your legs. 6, 7, and 8. Now you're going to bring the hands behind the head, lift the head, neck, and shoulders, bend through the knees. Same thing, keep this all engaged. Your hips are pulled up to the ribs are pulled down into the hips, and you're sending one leg out at a time. Don't let that hip come out, right? Just press, 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 press. Keep your chest lifted up from the ground, or if you prefer keeping your head on the ground, go ahead and do that. Keep the hips and the ribs connected, you guys, for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Separate the legs, bring the arms up, and you're going to do same arm and same leg. Extend. Again, keep the hip and the rib down. You can use your hand if you need it, right? And bring it in. Out and in. You don't want your hips or shoulders to move. You want to keep it nice and strong. Again, you want to stretch through the psoas muscle, through that hip flexor, right, without over pulling. And you don't want to strain the back. So we're going to do 4 more of these. You should be alternating sides. If you're not doing that, do it now. 3, 2, beautiful, and 1. Awesome. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet together and the knees open, and we're going to be working the abdominal muscle. Abdominal muscle lifts the center of the chest up and helps to flex your spine more forward. So try again not to strain your head or your neck. Work from here. Pull 1, 2. You're lifting from here. 3, 4, 5, 6. On this one, you don't need to put your back into the ground because you're not lifting and lowering the legs. Okay, so you can have your pelvis in a neutral position. Okay, it doesn't have to be a backward tip. And let's try 4 more of these for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Legs lift up, reaching the arms up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Bend through the knees and push your elbows into the floor with your wrists on top of your elbows. So you're going to be in this position. And you guys want to push your elbows back really hard, and you'll start to feel your shoulder blades activate. Your upper back is going to activate. So you're going to push the ground away with your elbows, even your shoulders, maybe even your head. And you'll start to notice that not only does your back engage, but your butt wants to come up off the floor. So you're going to let it. You're going to push your butt up, but keep pushing your elbows back, your shoulders back, and gently at the head. So you want to engage at the arms and the elbows, engaging the upper back, breathing in and breathing out. Now, once again, while your hips are lifted, you guys, you want to activate your glutes and try to let your hamstrings relax as much as possible. So the glutes are mainly doing the work. Chin is up as you do this. Keep pushing those elbows back more, shoulders back more for 4, 3. Now keep those elbows and shoulders pushing. Just bring your hands down to the floor, okay? So your hands are going to come down, but you're still pushing those elbows back engaging the upper back to lift your chest. Go a little further if you can. 2. Now go up on your toes, you guys. You're going to lift your heels up as high as you can. Again, you're going to start to feel the calf muscles contract. Soften them. Try not to tighten them too much. You want to soften into the contraction of the calves. And you want to lift up a little bit more at your hips. So those hip tips come up toward the chest. Ankles are straight. Don't turn your ankles out, you guys. Squeeze your inner ankles toward each other for 3. There you go. 2. And then relax the arms to let your back come to the ground. Then let your waist come to the ground. And your hips come to the ground. Beautiful. Bring knees into the chest. And just tuck in. And again, you want to soften through the hips here. Soften through the hips. Inhaling and exhaling. All right, we'll lift the legs nice and strong. Press your elbows into the floor again. So you're going to push the ground away from you as you lift the hips. So you guys have your arms to the ground. Your elbows are pushing against the ground, your wrists, your forearms, and it's going to help you to lift your hips. Soften your hamstrings, but stretch them. Soften your back, soften your hips, and breathe. You want to continue to soften as you lengthen. 2, and 1. Beautiful. Slowly roll that down. And then rock yourself up to seated. And we're going to sit cross-legged with the left ankle in front. Okay, so left ankle in front. We're going to get into pigeon pose a different way. Not like really too different, but we're going to do something that hopefully it'll help you guys. Flex this left foot. So don't point it, flex it. It's going to help your knee. You're going to take your right leg behind you because we're going to go into pigeon pose. And as you work your way into pigeon pose, use your hands and stick your left butt cheek out to the left as far as you can. So you're going to push this hip as far to the left as you can and as far back as you can while you come down into pigeon pose. Yes? This foot needs to be flexed. Check this out. It cannot be like this. It can't be turned. You've got to flex your foot. You've got to keep this ankle up, and you've got to push your left butt cheek to the left. You guys know what I mean? Yep. So keep pushing your butt to the left. If you don't push your butt to the left, you look like this. Your head goes to the left. So when you push your butt to the left, your head comes down and forward. Okay, so you're coming into the center position. Keep pushing your hip to the left. Left butt cheek to the left. Keep going. You guys feel that stretch? The bum?
Yeah, in the bum.
Yep. So that's really where you want to be. You want to keep pushing your hip more to the left. You want to now try that. You know the direction. Try to soften into it so you're not like tension pulling, but you're softening into that direction as you breathe in and breathe out. And then we're going to come around, lean over so that that hip comes in, and you'll bring that right ankle in front of the left. Flex that right foot and bring that left leg back. So right foot flexed. Don't even think about it. Just do it. Right? When you come into this position, your right bum is pushing to the right as far as you can and far back. Back into the right. So keep pushing your hip right down here, this hip joint, to the right and back. And keeping that right foot flexed. Yeah. You got to get up off that hip and move it. I know, you don't want to be on the knee either. So flex your foot, Judy, so you don't feel it in your knee. Yeah. Just flex it. Yeah, you don't even have to move the leg. Just pull those toes in. That's it. So you guys want to keep pushing that hip to the right and then try to soften into it. Yes? You're doing it. You're like, why aren't you doing it, Lorella?
Oh no, I don't know. I don't think I'm doing it.
You're doing it!
Oh, okay.
Put that camera on, James. All right, you guys, very nice. Woo! Let's swing that around and let that go. All right, so we're gonna come into a straight right leg, left knee on top. Relax the hips again. You don't want your ankle on top. You guys want to do your best to put the side of your knee on top of your thigh. Yes? So the side of your knee is on top of your thigh or on top of the knee, and this foot is up next to your hip. It's resting on the floor right next to your hip. Yeah, that's it. So keep moving this knee forward and keep pushing this hip out to the side as you hinge at your hip. Right? Hinge forward at your hip. So again, if you guys are rounding at your back like this, yeah, your hips are probably going backwards. You want to lift your hips up and let your hips come into a forward tip, not a backward tip. So forward tip, and breathe in, breathe out. Soften into that stretch. Beautiful. All right, let's let that go and we'll try the other side. So we'll take that left leg out and bring in that right knee so that the side of your knee is on top, or just whatever variation you can, right? Just do the best you can. It doesn't matter, right?
I'm putting an L in it.
Exactly. There you go. Side of your foot, if you can, relaxes. Whatever works. And again, you want those hips up and come forward. So we're hinging forward. There you go. Trying to extend your lower back and soften. So you just kind of notice where there's a restriction around the hip joint, what's stopping us from going further, and just try to relax and soften and let go. Beautiful. All right. Let's release that and just get a quick shoulder stretch here. It's a north wind. All right, reach that up nice and tall and pat yourself on the back. You're going to push your elbow back. So you're going to grab your elbow, but use more of your own arm strength here rather than the other arm, right? The one that you're trying to stretch. So you're trying to pull that elbow back, lift through the chest, lift through the hips, lift through the neck, and then gently come over. So once again, we're trying to open this, but same deal with the hamstring. If you're stretching and pulling and you might be making it tighter, right? Just try to soften and open. All right, and let's come on up and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So left arm up, left arm back, grab hold and move that elbow back very gently, just trying to open. And as you do that, come over to the side. Beautiful. Slowly release. Let the shoulders roll back. This is a really, again, if we're at home, you guys working at your computer, pointing at you, sorry. Roll, just because I see her all the time. Roll your shoulders back. You know, every so often, just kind of roll your shoulders back. But you can also do this kind of like push your elbows together behind you and your head back, and that'll help you to open up your chest. Just kind of squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Things like that will help you to release that, relax, and just let that neck open up. So yeah, you guys know if you're hanging forward over your computer or looking at your phone a lot, you want to lift up and open. Okay, I'm not saying don't do it because we have to do it, right? For work or for whatever. But just try to get that balance there. Nothing too aggressive, just feel an opening wherever you feel like you need it, right? And then slowly come over to the other side. So balance is always just doing the opposite thing. Right, that's balance. So if you're always bent forward, you bend back. Right? If you always lean right, lean left. If you're always right, be wrong. No way. No. I hear you. No way. So we're gonna cross the right leg over the left. I'm never wrong. Right? Right. Exactly. As my shirt says. I agreed with you, we'd both be wrong. So you're gonna hug that in and come into your rotation. Lift through the chest. Okay, so you wanna lift your hip bones up. You wanna lift the chest up. You wanna breathe as you soften inside the body and twist. So allow that rotation to happen. Just try to squeeze into the waist. And then release and relax. Try the other side. Whew. So left over the right and bring that in. Yep, so left leg crosses over. Yep,
okay.
sorry, I did that really fast. Crosses over and then hug that in. Bring the hand back. Make sure you guys are lifting your hips, lifting your chest and twisting. Yeah, just grab hold of that leg with your right arm and twist right into it or whatever, second side, doesn't matter. There you go. And just keep lifting your chest. You're doing great. Soften into the belly. Try not to strain your head or your neck. Try to keep the head on top of the waist. Come into your rotation a little bit more. And then slowly release and relax. And come onto your back. Woohoo!